Welcome back to another installment of Let's Talk About It, the word on real estate. I am your co-host, Mr. William Bertice, and to the left of me, we have our other co-host, Mr. Clinton James.
Yes, I am your co-host, Mr. Clinton James, your local real estate broker here in San Diego. Often imitated, never duplicated. Hi.
And next to him, we have Mr. Terrell Simmons.
Yes, it's Terrell Simmons, your career coach. Anything you need to know to get your career elevate you to that next level, I'm here for you.
Cool, cool. You see, we do have a missing person, Mr. Mike Dunn. We want to give him a shout out. He wanted to be here, but sometimes circumstances happen. So, Mike,
Yes, they do.
wherever you
Yes.
at, man, we miss you. Wish you was here, and we catch you on the next time.
Much love, Mike. Much love.
So today's show is going to be all of us involved. Usually, you see one of us have a specific topic that we want to talk about, but we're really going to talk about you. And when we mean by you, we mean what is your goals that you want to set for 2020 and beyond. So we're
Yes.
skipping Thanksgiving, we're skipping Christmas, we're going straight to the beginning of the year, new year for your 2020 resolution goals. Now, when most people think about their resolution goals, they think of getting in shape or making more money. My
Right.
goal is to make $200,000 a year. Whatever your goal is, just set the goal.
Right.
That's it. Just set the goal. And you know what? Do you have to wait to 2020 to start? No. After listening to the show, you want to start now? Start now. So I'm going to read you this quote from, I'm going to say a quote, scripture.
Okay.
All
Preach,
right.
brother.
Go ahead.
Since
Break
this
us
is
down.
a gospel show. And it comes from Habakkuk 2 and 2, where it says, And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, so he may run that reads it.
Mm.
What does that mean? That means that in order to reach your goal, you just don't have to have it up here. You need to have it written down. You got to write down your goal. Now, I'll give you an example in my life how this works. So it was 2006. I was about 22 years old. I had just left my job involuntarily, and I had no car, had no house. I was still living at home with my mom, had no degree, nothing. And I was so disappointed where I was at in my life. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a book. I'm going to write all the goals I want to accomplish. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to accomplish these goals. One of those goals was to buy a house in 2 years, which meant in 2008, my goal was to buy a house. Now, at the time I wrote this goal, mind you, again, I had no degree, no job, no car, let alone any money in my savings account or checking account. And you know what happened, ladies and gentlemen? In 2008, I bought a house. Sometimes about how you're going to get there.
Right.
It's about setting the goal, and then everything else will come. You may have heard Will Smith say, "You set the plan, you set your goals, and it's like water. Things just kind of clear out and make it available for you." And if you have it written down and you read it on a consistent basis, anything that you want to accomplish can be accomplished.
Right.
And we're going to talk about these different things that you can accomplish today on some of the things that we're experts on. Now, before we get into one of those things, and I'll let Clinton talk about the real estate side of it, uh, Zig Ziglar, who is a famous motivational speaker and motivator and personal development coach, and a Christian too. He was a Bible school teacher at his church. Said, "Time could be an ally, or an enemy. What it becomes depends entirely upon you, your goals, and your determination to use every available minute.
Mm.
Time is going to pass anyway. 10 minutes is going to be here from 10 minutes from now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
6 months is going to be here 6 months from now.
Right.
10 years is going to be here 10 years from now.
Right.
If that's the case, why don't you accomplish something that you want to accomplish in between that time? Because you can't stop time and you can't go back in time. Only thing you can focus is making a goal and reaching for it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
Yes.
before we get into our topics, anything you guys want to start off saying about the importance of reaching your goals?
Yeah, I mean, in 2020, there's a saying that we had last week where we started, and I want to also repeat it. 2020, we got to have vision, which means we got to have 2020 vision.
Clear.
I hope y'all catch that. Clear vision. That's what we want 2020 to be for a lot of people, especially in real estate and finances and personal development. There's a lot of things that you can actually do, simple things, not difficult things. I mean, we want you to set a goal, but make it very simple, one step at a time. Every journey, as Susie Orman said, begins with one step. So it doesn't matter where you're at in life, what you're doing in life. Once you set that goal, and as William said, write it down because it kind of imprints on your in your mind. It's kind of like you're implanting or you're downloading something that a program that is supposed to now implement itself. So once you read that goal and you see that goal, you put it on the board. If you believe in vision boards, I don't know if
Oh, yeah.
anybody believes in
yeah.
vision boards.
Love
I have
vision boards.
vision
Yeah.
boards. Yes.
Vision boards it works. I've seen a lot of people come to me and say, "Hey, put a vision board up. I've accomplished like 50% of what I want on my vision board. Long term, short term goals. It starts. It's just one step at a time, and after a while, it becomes a habit, and sooner or later, you're there. So I want to say that 2020 want you to have 2020 vision, a clear vision, and that's what we're here to help you do.
Yeah, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. 2020 vision in the year. Ever since we had that conversation last week, I've been preaching that to everybody that I come in contact with. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna get more clear, more focused on my intent, on my purpose. What's my why? Why do I get up every day out of bed to do the
Right.
things that I do, and make sure I hit these things and objectives, these goals, these accomplishments, these desires, these wants, all these things with pure intention and clear vision,
Right.
Right.
and a structure and something to steps to get me to that goal and vision of where I want to be. So
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Yep.
We start off good. You know what? This is going to lead into my segment a little bit later. So I'm glad y'all gave me the good segue because I'm going to be talking about the secrets to getting more done in less time. So if you want to do that, you got to have clear vision, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
All right.
So let's talk about this. So Clinton and I's expertise in the things that we focus on every single day is in real estate. He focuses on helping people buy a house. I focus on helping people get the money to buy a house. And so he and I are going to touch bases a little bit. If your goal is to purchase a house in 2020 or beyond, we want to give you some clear steps and goals that you can accomplish so you can purchase a house in 2020 or 2021, whatever your goal is. But we just want to let you know, wherever you're at right now, you could be having no job, like I didn't have a job at one point. You can have no money in your account. You may not even be clear on what kind of house you want. You just know you want to buy. Write it down. It can happen. Trust me. Speaking from experience, not from somebody else's revelation, but from my own. So, Clinton, why don't you tell us some things people can do to purchase a house in 2020
Yeah,
or should look out for?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes coming down, especially coming down the pipeline when it comes to how we buy homes and how we invest, especially in real estate. So one of the things that, as a real estate broker, especially in San Diego and California, my job is to really keep ahead or keep up to date with all the different changes that will affect how people in real estate operate in real estate in 2020. Now, the main thing that I think I want to touch on before I go into the goals and stuff is the new rental law, AB 1485. I think everybody should be aware of that coming down in 2020 on the 1st of January, where there's this new bill that was implemented that actually is a rent control bill. So it affects how investors are going to value their properties, number one, how you're going to invest for a long-term buy and hold situation, and it also affects renters. So if you're a renter, it does affect you because this bill was actually created around you and your rights as a renter, but it does affect real estate owners too. So that's a bill that I'll touch on as we go through the segment. But something another thing too is for homeowners who want to sell. There's certain things that are coming in 2020, where now you cannot have coming soon anymore. You can't advertise coming soon anymore without putting it on the MLS. So that means you have to be working with a realtor. Now, and if you want to actually market your property before you list it, you have to get the services of a realtor, which is good. It does affect you as a seller because you get professional help and you get professional advice. Now, how it might impact you negatively is that you're losing a little bit of control in how you sell and how you market your property. So these are the things that are coming in 2020. I am kind of looking at. I try to keep a brush up on these things as the year closes, so I can really get a head start on how to even market property. Even we have the opportunity zone. That is actually the sunset is coming. The sunset time to actually invest in an opportunity zone is coming up at the end of this year. So these are things that as I said, that I want to touch on. But my number one thing for consumers out there, people who are looking to buy, is number one, start getting your finances in order, because a lot of things, the foundation of real estate is on that. And I want to touch on this. Now, as especially millennials, we see that there's a lot of millennials out there who are not homeowners. But we've realized the data shows us that almost a lot of millennials also making over $100,000 a year. Now, why is the transition or the mentality towards homeownership different for millennial than it was for past generations? And we've been looking at that a lot, and we're looking at opportunities now where millennials are looking at more in the investment of real estate as an investment than as a home. No longer do people want to buy a huge home and make it their long-term home. Their parents have done that, and they want to shift away. Millennials like to travel. They like avocado toast. But at the same time, too, we are trying to adjust how we actually approach them in terms of showing them, hey, real estate is one of the best investments still when it comes to an asset. You get a real estate can go from a liability into the asset column if you do it right.
And one thing I do want to say for those who are interested in investing in real estate, which I think is an awesome thing, if you start investing in real estate and you're looking for a loan from the bank, usually the down payment is a little bit more, and then your interest rate tends to be higher for an investment property as well. So for those who are looking at investing, just keep that in mind. We 100% encourage investing in the real estate because it's a way to increase your either month-to-month income or increase your assets, meaning you have more assets available with the equity that's available in your home when you own a real estate investment property. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking at saying, okay, I'm going to buy a primary home, which is the house you're going to live in, or an investment property, and you currently do not own a home at the time that you're going to purchase it, then you might as well just say, okay, I'm going to buy a house for myself.
Right.
Because it may require less down payment and less interest rate, which means that your monthly payments can be lower. Or to get into that investment property is going to cost less to get into the investment property.
And one trend we've seen too is that millennials like roommates. It's something where they created the economy we call the share economy, like Uber, Lyft, Airbnb. They created that, so they love room like sharing their space with each other. Now, I've heard of a couple of deals getting done like this where millennials were able to pool their money together and purchase the home that they wanted. So if they wanted to live near the beach, they pool their money together and they live closer to the beach. But the good thing is that it's home ownership. They own that real estate. No longer are they paying rent, or they actually, as they say, like throwing your money away. But you need a place to live, so why not? And you still have roommates, so why not you and your roommates actually pool your money together? And there's a couple of programs I know of that are out there that can help you do that. So
now, would that be considered my personal residence, or would that be considered an investment property? If I buy a property, or if I get a couple people together to buy a property, that we're going to live in. How does the bank equate that?
You can have multiple people going to purchase a home and it
Mhm.
still be considered a primary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because you have more than two people, you can have in some cases up to 10 people
10 people, really?
go. It depending on who you get your loan with
Mhm.
to purchase a property together, because it could be an opportunity where all of you can live together.
Mhm.
Now, you also have to take into account the size of the house, um, take into account the size of with people's income. You're also including everyone's else's debts,
Right.
Okay.
and you're also including everyone's credit score.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
the pros could be you have more income that could be thrown at a property.
Mhm.
The cons could be you have someone's bad financial and credit history that could prevent you from getting that loan. So
Mm.
there's a lot of things you want to take into account when you do go into multiple people.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you just got to make sure that everybody that's coming in has good credit so that you get the best possible deal.
Yeah, in good credit, not a whole lot of debt, and
Mhm.
great income
Yeah.
Okay.
or enough income.
Yeah.
But
So I want you all to check out that. I mean, and this is not harping on millennials. We think home ownership should be for everybody, but these are just ideas that everybody, even your family members, if you have family members who can pool their resources together and purchase that home, it's a benefit for everyone.
Well, but one goal that I think people can do is sometimes you might just have to bite the bullet and live with your mom or dad for a little while.
See how
wait,
he
are you
laughs?
talking about live with mom and dad to save up the money, or live with buy a house and have mom and dad live with you to help pay off the house?
However works best. But I'm talking about a situation where your parents have a primary home already,
Uh,
and let's say you do make $80,000 a year.
mhm,
Ask yourself, can I live off of 40?
mhm,
And then for 2-3 years, save up to $80,000 to $120,000
Mhm.
in that time frame
mhm.
is doable.
Yeah.
And as you may see, there's a lot of people who might have the opportunity to buy a home, they just aren't willing to do what it takes to get there. And it just could be the down payment.
Right.
Their income is good, their credit score is good. They may not have they just don't have the down payment. But the idea of I'm not going to live with my mom and dad. I've had a lot of people tell me that.
Right.
And certain cultures are more prone to not live with their parents
Mhm.
compared to other cultures who have there's no negativity or there's nothing bad about them doing what it takes to move in with their family to purchase a home.
Right.
Yeah.
As
Actually, sometimes they much rather prefer it. It's like, oh, we putting all the money in the same pot. So
right,
hey,
Right.
let us help you. And that's talking about if you have good enough parents, you're talking about going 2-3 years rent free
Yeah. Hey, that's
or,
very
or
true.
paying little amount of
Very
rent.
true. Yeah, I just saw the example of that over the weekend, and I was impressed. You know, I saw a family, and they were pooling together to buy investment property. They were going to live in it. They actually, while they renovated it, because it was 2 units in one, and it's a buy and hold situation, I would say. And if you look at for a quick flip, the clients that were coming by to look at this property, the investors were quick flippers, and it wasn't working out in terms of the numbers. But a family that wants to pool their resources together, they're in construction or they're DIY, do it yourself. You know, they can go into a property together or a fixer upper
Mm-hmm.
and actually invest in that property, live in one or a duplex situation, triplex situation, live in one unit while to fix up the rest for a rental income later on. You know, so yeah, it's things like that 2020 we're looking at. We're trying to really push those things. The idea of that for 2020. Then there is, if you all want to look into that some more, there is a program out there called the House Then the Car.com that actually launched just recently, which is put on by the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. That launch where they actually targeted millennials, ensuring that they are able to get into a house before to buy that Range Rover or that
Porsche
that
Panamera.
Porsche Primera, you know,
Yeah.
or the Tesla, you know, like but at the same time, it's so important. Real estate is so important. We're seeing that does affect a lot of things long term in terms of wealth or generational wealth. Because when we look at the statistics, and I don't believe in forecasting based upon statistics, especially in our community, because we always get the bad end of the stick when it comes to forecasts. But at the same time, too, I believe once we are aware of what the forecast is, we now implement certain things to change those things, so to be proactive instead of being reactive. Now wait until the situation happens, then we try to figure out what we need to do. We just be proactive, and real estate is one of those foundations that can really, really help our community in terms of building up our wealth for the future.
I agree 100%. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about more ways you can set goals for 2020, having 2020 vision. You're listening to Let's Talk About It.
Have you been in a car accident? Bill collectors hounding you? About to lose your house? Your car? If so, you need to contact the law offices of Odin and Green, San Diego's oldest African-American law firm. For over 35 years, the law offices of Odin and Green have provided quality legal services for the community. They pride themselves in giving each and every client individual attention. They are located at 701 B Street, Suite 540 in downtown San Diego. Call them now at 619-702-0800. That's 619-702-0800. At Odin and Green, experience matters. Si habla español.
When faced with the unexpected loss of a loved one, no one can fully be prepared to know the next steps to take. The emotional toll alone is oftentimes too difficult and hard to bear. At Preferred Cremation and Burial, we're here to help and serve you. Our trusted team of professionals have one goal, and that's to provide you and your family with the very best in quality and service. We'll guide you every step of the way in making informed decisions that truly honor the memory of your loved one. Preferred Cremation and Burial is located at 6406 University Avenue in San Diego. Call our offices today at 619-584-7000 or visit our website at www.preferredcremation.org. Preferred Cremation and Burial offers excellence in service. Call us today at 619-584-7000. We're here to serve you.
GODRadio1.com would love to help you get the word out about your products, your business, your event, your ministry, your services, and more. Our advertisement campaigns are cost-effective and specially catered to meet your needs. Radio commercial ads are only $10 with a minimum purchase of $10. Advertisement packages may consist of radio ads, e-blasts, and social media campaigns. Call us up today at 858-251-6111, extension 505, and inquire about the services that are available to you. Our sales team will cater a package that fits your advertising needs. GODRadio1.com is here to serve you. Call today at 858-251-6111, extension 505 for our account executive, or email us at godradio1@mandaterecords.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It, the Word on Real Estate. I am your co-host, Mr. William Bertice, and today we're talking about how to set goals for yourself in 2020. And Clinton and I were talking about real estate goals you can accomplish. So we're going to give you some steps, some objectives to help you meet some goals in 2020 when it comes to purchasing a house. First thing you want to check is your credit. Now, I wish Mike was here because he
The
can
money
explain-
guy.
the
Yes,
money
sir.
guy.
Michael Dunn.
To explain different ways to increase your credit score, but I will say this. Most lenders have credit guidelines, meaning in order to get a certain loan, you have to meet a certain minimum credit score. So if you're trying to buy a house, then it might be you need a 720 credit score, 680, or a 760. And remember, the better your credit score, the better interest rate you get.
Yes, sir.
So the first thing you want to do is make sure you check your credit score, because you can meet all the other guidelines: income, income, down payment, everything else. You found the house that you want, but if you haven't met the minimum FICO score or credit score guidelines, no one will lend to you.
Yeah.
Or if they do lend to you, they're going to lend to you at a much higher interest rate. So that's one. Two is start saving. Start saving.
That's right.
Now, there's different ways you can save. You can have X amount of dollars come out of your checking account each time you get paid. You can, you know, cut your expenses by maybe not going out as much, or you may have to live with a family member for those, or maybe live in or get a roommate with someone that you say, I don't ever want a roommate, but you might have to bite the bullet on that. You may have to downsize, but you got to figure out a ways to start saving.
Well, you've got one more thing.
What's that?
They could get a second job or start a
There you
side
go.
hustle.
Side hustle.
Well,
That's
hey,
right.
you know, there's so many people out there that have a certain skill, talent, gift, and the internet has made it virtually like impossible for you not to have a side hustle or do something with your spare time or gift to turn that into money.
That's right.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. So, remember I mentioned my goal was to buy a house?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I did?
What?
I had a graveyard job in the middle of the night
You did?
and had a day job.
Wow. You'll burn the candle in both ends then.
Let me tell you, it was hard, but it was worth it. Because I know it was something I took control of. I did. I said, I'm not going to wait by happenstance. I want to make it happen.
Right.
So I went ahead and got a second job working graveyard. I would start at 10 a.m. and get off at 6 p.m. I mean, 10 p.m. and get off at 6 a.m. And have to be at work at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, I didn't work every day at the graveyard. I think it was like 3 or 4 times during the week. And it got rough, but I made it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And check this out. I was working so much, the first time I passed out. I had to quit. A few months went by. I said, I still got to reach this goal. Took the job back. But my
There you
goal,
go.
but my goal was
There you
that
go.
strong.
Uh-huh.
So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Right.
Get that second job. And that's part of it, to earn extra cash. That was number 3. I was like, I know I have it
Yeah.
somewhere on
Oh,
here.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Sorry.
extra
I didn't mean
cash.
to stop you earlier.
Yeah.
I was like, he going on to the next one?
And-
There's
Let him
more
flow,
ways.
man. Let him flow.
And you're going to hit on that too.
Yeah.
You're going to hit on that too.
Right.
So we'll leave number 3 up for you. Number 4 is
I mean, you could touch and butter it up, and now I'll go ahead and toast it and put that avocado on it.
There we go.
so number 4 is consult with a lender. That means talk to me or talk to someone like me. Okay, why? Because you need to know the guidelines of what it takes to get the money to purchase a house.
That's right.
Unless you're going to save up $500,000 and put it all to purchase a house, then you need a lender.
Yeah.
So whether that's you're going to put 3.5% down or 50% down, you're going to need a lender to help you get the rest of the money. So figure out what it takes to get that.
Yeah.
And you might want to hit on that, because one thing, if you watch the movie Willy Wonka, in order to go to the chocolate factory, you have to have what?
The golden
You
ticket.
keep- yeah, the golden ticket. Yes.
When you meet with a realtor, your golden ticket is your conditionally approved or pre-qualification
yep.
letter. They are not going to waste 1 inch of gas mileage on anyone who doesn't have that golden. Am I right?
That's true.
It's true.
That's true.
What? Tell them the story you was telling me about when you first went and did your house shopping, and then the gentleman you met. What happened?
Yeah. So at the time period when I made it up in my mind I'm going to buy a house, I was starting to go to open houses, and I didn't have the money, but I was just going to open houses in East Lake, the south is East Lake, all the way up as north as San Marcos. I was going to
Wow.
open houses because my mind said I'm going to buy a house. And one guy said to me, "Have you been pre-qualified yet?" I said, "No." I didn't even really know what he was talking about at the time. I was like, "No." And he was like, so what are you doing here?" I said, "Hey, man, jerk, I'm trying to buy a house. You didn't ask why I'm here. I'm trying to meet my goals." And I eventually did.
Right.
But I'm glad he mentioned that because at the same time, I had to figure out, like, what is he talking about? What do I have to get? So eventually I got there.
Right.
Right. Yeah, and just to touch on that too, it's like it's a process. You know, it's like people think that it's a random thing and get a just prepare. You want to go buy a house and you start looking for houses. Now you can do that on your own. Nobody's saying there's a lot of resources out there. You can just go look and buy and look for homes, right? But when it comes to a realtor or realtors, number one, these are licensed individuals who licensed to actually help you narrow it down into getting into a home and know the laws inside out in terms of the legal ramifications of buying a home. Now, why I say that is because that's why that golden ticket is important. A pre-approval or pre-qualification is very important. To get a realtor, a professional realtor, a licensed person to take you out and look at homes, because that's gas they're spending, that's time they're spending. And one of the things about it is that we don't get paid on transactions until that purchase you actually get the keys to that home.
So the most important letter for a realtor is the F letter,
Yes.
which means funded.
Funded. Funded.
And that's when the fun begins for them, huh?
That's what
Right.
This is the Christian radio
Right.
show. We wasn't going to take it there. So you definitely want to sit down and meet with a consultant, a realtor, a real estate consultant. So that's the lender, and meet with your realtor that you want to use as well, because you also want to get a good idea of what areas may work best for you.
Right.
Number 5 is investigate down payment assistance programs. So if you're in a situation where you want to purchase a house, but you can't put the 20% down, which is usually the rule of thumb. Most lenders require or prefer you put 20% down. If you can't put that amount of money down, investigate down payment assistance programs. Your
Right.
real estate consultant may have information on about it. Your lender, your real estate agent may have information about it. Go to someone who may have used that program and figure out the best program to get some type of down payment assistance. It's out there. If you're a veteran, you don't need no money to put down.
Zero
Purchase
down.
out. Zero down. The minimum you could put down is around 3.5%. That's the FHA loan. There's some programs out there, depending on where you live, or certain programs that may become available at a certain time period, where you put down 3%, they'll give you 17% to put down,
Yeah.
which allows you to put 20% down. And you may say, is that a loan or is that a grant? Well, sometimes a loan, sometimes it's a grant. If it's a loan, sometimes it's forgiven after a certain period of time of being there. So don't be discouraged if you're saying, I'm saving, but I just don't have enough. There's programs out there to make sure you can purchase a home.
Right.
Number 6, decide on how much you want to spend. You have to create your own budget. And if Mike was here, he can go more and more about that. But when you purchase a home, there's more than just your monthly payments. There's other expenses that come with it.
Right.
Your toilet goes out. Your hot water heater goes out, like mine did a couple months ago. And you cannot not go with hot water.
Right.
Like, imagine taking cold showers.
Right.
Well, I mean, you can.
You can.
Right.
But
But do you want to?
But it's 2020. Who wants to take a cold shower?
Yeah, and that goes across the board, man. It's capital expenditures. You know, like you're going to have these expenditures come up on your property because your property is not permanent. It's going to depreciate. There's going to things are going to happen, plumbing, electrical, as with use of that property.
And the importance of using a real estate agent is if you look at a house and you look online, because all of us are realtors looking online, and you look online and, oh, this house is great and it's cheap for this area, and you connect with your realtor and your realtor said, you know why I didn't show you that house? Because the roof is falling in, it needs a lot of work in the inside. You probably could move in, but it probably won't meet your standards, or it may need a whole lot of work to get it halfway decent. So that's why it's cheap. Now, if you have the money to fix it up, great.
Right.
But if If you don't, if you have enough for the down payment and to buy a few things, then you might need to purchase a house that's move-in ready. Meet with realtor. They can have that interview and that conversation with you about that. Uh, Next thing is where I'm at 6, 7, attend seminar classes. So we do a barbershop series where we talk about different ways to purchase a house. So you could attend our barbershop series. HUD has some programs. There's a program in Lemon Grove you can go to. If you're listening up north in the Riverside area, there's a program up there you can go to. There's the Urban Links, which is different organizations where you can go to learn how to buy a house. Number 8 is start looking at neighborhoods. Let's start looking at neighborhoods that you want to like, that you like. East Lake, figure out how much it costs to purchase a house there.
Right.
If you want to live in El Cajon or Del Mar or Carlsbad or Riverside, look in that area for a little while. And I would recommend this. Try to rent in that area before you purchase that area, purchase that house. See if this is a neighborhood that you actually would want to live in. Because if you rent in there and you realize you don't like it, it's better than buying a house and realize you don't like that neighborhood. You don't like the
Right.
school district. You don't like the neighbors. You don't like how long it takes you to get to work, etc.
Right.
Make that decision before you purchase a house.
Now, are you talking more from the aspect of, is this my forever home or is this my starter home? Because I feel like anytime you enter into the space of buying a home, I feel like your first home that you buy is never truly your forever home. It's usually your starter home.
I'm glad you mentioned
Right.
that because your first home does not have to be your forever home. It does not have
Yeah.
to be your forever home.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And in fact, don't even look at it as I'm gonna live in this house forever. You have to look at it as a if you can, great. But also look at it as this will be the next step to help to me get to the next step of buying a home.
Right.
Because you can have your starter home in life, and then your main home in your life, and then as you get older, you might decide that you want to downsize and have another home.
Right. Because keep in mind, in San Diego, I mean, if we look at the average price of a home in San Diego, which is a average 3-bedroom, we're looking at around $625. And that's the average. So when you look at, okay, well, you start a home, you're starting off with your starter home at $625. You might, and we're talking about the average, but there are homes that are a little bit less than that. So that's when you're at 625, you're looking at jumbo loan status, right?
Right.
And it takes a little bit more qualifications, a little bit more income, and most likely your mortgage payments are going to be going up. Now, it's not a bad thing. Now, if you qualify for 625, you can still buy a home below that, right? You don't have to jump into that 625 5-bedroom home that your mortgage payments are going to be way high. And now we have to look at, okay, well, can you really be able, based upon your income, based upon the debt you have, can you really be able to carry this mortgage, this debt? So one of the things I always say is you might want to, home ownership is a stepping stone. You want to start off with something that's manageable, right? And then we all know that real estate is an appreciated asset. Now, I'm not saying it's guaranteed to appreciate. It's an appreciated asset. So if you bought your home and you stayed in it and you own that home for 4 or 5 years, it will appreciate in value. Now you leverage that home or sell that home and buy something different, or as your family grows or as things change or your job situation change, you can now go into that home now. And that's how real estate is really, and how you have to really manage real estate in San Diego. It's one step at a time. I always say, if you get into something, it doesn't have to be the dream home that you're looking at or you're dreaming of, but at least you can get into something, start off with something that's manageable, and then move into that dream home.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what I had to lower my expectations for a little bit, and then I so wanted to get into our forever home, and then it was like, look, my realtor was like, look, brother, you gonna have to lessen those expectations. You want to get into the best school district and you want your forever home, I get it, but you're not there yet.
Right.
Why don't you start here? Start off with this little condo,
Right.
which in this nice neighborhood is going to build you some good equity.
There
That's
you go.
right.
And it's in a prime location, so if you have to sell it to get to your next home, it's going to turn quickly because everything in this neighborhood turns quickly.
Right.
Because you're in the best school district and you're in a nice neighborhood.
Right.
So start here and then use what you build in equity here while the interest rates are low and it's the seller's market and give you
Right.
some quick equity. I mean, and he was right. And like in the first month, gained equity, 5,000 in equity on the spot.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow,
Yeah.
he ain't lying.
Yep. And I want to touch something that you said about renting in that in the area. Now it's kind of like with the new laws that are coming out, renting. If you can rent right now, keep in mind if you were to sign a new lease this year and go into next year, and the landlord was to raise that rent next year, because keep in mind with the new laws you can only raise the rent by 5%, right, every year. So meaning that if you rent it now, the landlord is going to want to capitalize on as much rent as possible, right? And I don't blame them, but at the same time too, if you're renting and you're paying as much as a mortgage, you might want to maybe look at really trying to actually buy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never prevent anyone from buying.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about your goals to help buy a house in 2020. What we're going to do is we're going to take another quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk to Terrell on how to meet your career goals in 2020. You're listening to Let's Talk About It.
Yep.
Fresh Faith Clothing, a brand that affirms, a brand that encourages one's faith to stay fresh each day, a brand designed to give voice to a message that can't be silenced. We are Fresh Faith Clothing, spreading the love of Jesus Christ. Check out our website, freshfaith.com, without the E, FRSH, faith.com, with positive and creative apparel for men, women, and children that makes a bold statement. Tomorrow's not promised. When we boast in the name of the Lord, we make Jesus famous. Join in the movement with Fresh Faith Clothing. For more information, call 858-650-3190, extension 303, or contact us at info@freshfaith.com.
The San Diego Voice and Viewpoint newspaper is San Diego's oldest and largest African American publication. We bring you news for and about our community. Your stories matter to us. Thank you for allowing us to serve you for nearly 6 decades. Your support enables us to continue to forge ahead, informing you with news tailored to your needs. In addition to subscribing to our weekly publication, consider using Voice and Viewpoint to promote your business and events. Call us at 619-266-2233 or send an email to ads@sdvoice.info for details on how to get started. If you have advertising needs, contact us. Our prices are both fair and reasonable. Follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Voice and Viewpoint or visit our website at www.sdvoice.info. Remember, a people without a voice cannot be heard.
GODRadio1.com would love to help you get the word out about your products, your business, your event, your ministry, your services, and more. Our advertisement campaigns are cost-effective and specially catered to meet your needs. Radio commercial ads are only $10 with a minimum purchase of 10. Advertisement packages may consist of radio ads, e-blasts, and social media campaigns. Call us up today at 858-251-6111, extension 505, and inquire about the services that are available to you. Our sales team will cater a package that fits your advertising needs. GODRadio1.com is here to serve you. Call today at 858-251-6111, extension 505 for our account executive, or email us at godradio1@mandaterecords.com.
You're listening to Let's Talk About It. I am your co-host, Mr. William Bertice, and today we're talking about different ways you can meet your goals in 2020. Clinton and I just talked about different ways you can meet your goals in 2020 when it comes to becoming a homeowner.
Yes.
Now we're going to touch on something where you're going to be at the second most part of your day every single day for the rest of your life, other than your home, your job. So Terrell's going to talk about 2020 goals on how to meet your career goals.
Awesome. So let's talk about goals that you had for 2020. I know you alluded to it a little bit when we were talking about, all right, I had to get that second job. One thing before we jump into the different jobs you can get and skills, I'm not going to really hone in on the jobs part. But I'm more focused on mindset and skills, right?
Okay.
Upskilling or reskilling or retooling the skills you have to earn more, right?
Right.
And focus on that. Now, I want to dive back to when you were talking about how you went into the house to shop around and look at houses before you actually bought a house.
Mm-hmm.
So I want the listeners today to think of that same thing, getting into that mindset. Like, okay, I want to make more money in my life, but what does that mean, right? Like, or I want to buy the car. All right, why do you want to buy that car? Go test drive the car. Sit in the car. How do you feel in the car? What does it make you feel like? Why do you want that car? Because sometimes you'll get in the car and you're like, wait, I thought I want this Ferrari, but after sitting there, I don't really like Ferraris. Right? Like, I'm more of a Mercedes guy, right? Now, I'm not saying if there's anybody that says that, but,
Hey,
you know.
Hey, Toyota too, you know?
Yeah, that Toyota may be cool too. So you
Right.
might, before you set out to really to strive for that goal, see if this is the right goal for you. You know, just because somebody else has it or is doing it doesn't mean it's necessarily the right fit for you.
Right.
So I was reading this article earlier today on the Muse called "The Secret to Getting More Done in Less Time." So, and for anybody who's listening, it's called The Muse, THEMUSE, and they have a whole bunch of articles where they give breakdowns of different career paths, how you can make more money, how you do your resume, what the culture looks like inside of companies. So you can really, this is your way of testing out the company and the field you want to go into to see if this culture fits your culture. Because sometimes you may be working for a company and make good money at it. I remember I used to work for a company that paid me well, and I thought from the outside looking in, I thought their mission spoke to me and spoke to the type of culture that I wanted to be a part of,
Yeah.
and spoke to my values. But when I got inside the company, I realized the values were different.
Right.
They were all about numbers and
right.
not people, right? And at the end of the day, that didn't sit well with my soul. So, and all the money in the world can't if your soul don't feel right, right?
Right. Right. True.
Yeah.
Very
Either
true.
two things happens. Either one, you disconnect with the job, which means you're no longer the best person to do it, or the job will disconnect from you.
Right. Yeah, it's the Bible said, what is the profit of man to gain the whole world but lose his
Lose
soul?
his soul.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So take that test drive. Get to know yourself and get to know where you want to provide your skills and who do you want to work for, who you want to work with. Do service, not only doing the things you love, but with the people you love to do it with.
Right.
Right? So step number one goal I'm gonna give you today, and it's called step 1. Imagine your ideal week. So look back, sit back, reflect. Imagine your ideal week. What are your hours on an average day of the week? How much do you want to work? Are you in meetings all day? Or do you want to be getting things done certain date and certain times? At what time of the day are you most productive? I don't know about you fellas. I'm usually more productive in the morning. After lunch, whoo.
Yeah. Morning
That's
for
true,
me,
yeah.
and then around 4 o'clock, I get re-energized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can
yeah.
work for another 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
I said 3 times a day for me. It's in the morning.
Uh-huh.
I'd say around 1 o'clock, and then I don't know. I'm just a weird person. After 6,
Yeah.
because I
You
mean
get that second wind or
yeah,
that recharge, huh?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And so you're in the perfect career where you get to set your hours around those different times. Hopefully, to
Right.
maximize your productivity.
Exactly.
And that's what you want to do. So I get it. At first, you probably won't be able to do that. You can't if you're working at that midnight shift. You can't really. You have to kind of just go in there and drag it out and figure it out. But like I said before, the internet has made it in a way that people can do all sorts of gigs in this gig economy to
Oh, yeah.
make that extra money. So
yeah.
if night shift ain't working for you, let's find a gig that does, that allows you to use your best talent. You work at your peak performance times to make extra income or make the income you want for your family or for your future needs.
Yeah.
So imagine your ideal work week. After you figure that whole thing out and get together your ideal work week, here's what I want you to do for step 2 of this process. Reverse engineer your calendar. Reverse engineer your calendar by making others fit into your schedule and putting your big goals and accomplishments, scheduling those in first and let everything else fall around it.
I like that.
That's interesting.
I like that.
Because
Go
here's
deeper. Go deeper.
Because here's what people normally do when they make goals and they set off to do their day. They'll go into their inbox, like even in work. I see managers, they'll go in their inbox, they'll start doing all the work, and then they're reacting, right? They're reacting to all the emails, and then it's like, oh man, it was like I was busy, but I feel like I didn't get anything done, or they didn't get the things they really wanted to get done because they didn't schedule in their calendar. They was in reactionary mode. Thing that I see that a lot of successful people do in their life, this lifetime, especially I've been blessed to be around a few millionaires, and I see that they make time for the things and goals and things that are most important to them first, and then everything else falls around it. There's a video that we often play, and you guys ever heard of Franklin Covey?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Isn't he? related
That's
to
Stephen
Steve
Covey's son, right?
Stephen
Okay,
Covey's son, yeah.
yeah.
So he came out with the Franklin Covey planners and so forth, and then they started training series that really maximize the laws of effective people, the most highly effective people. Remember the book?
Yeah.
And then they started doing more study, data, and research around it. Like, all right, what makes people so efficient, effective? What makes these people successful? And then they put all that data together, and they came up and they started doing trainings around this. And there's a training that they have in one of their video series, because I teach these trainings sometimes to management or other people, and they got this bowl of rocks. So imagine you have a bowl of big rocks, right? And these big rocks represents like family, that vacation you've always wanted to take, buying that house, right? Community service. These are your big rocks. Imagine another bowl of little pebbles, and all those little pebbles are like emergency situations that come up. Your daughter, your wife, or somebody in the family got sick, or emails, phone calls, the laundry, all those little things that we have to tend to, but they're not those things that fuel us, drive us, that are really important, that keeps us going, that gets us into the next big thing in life. And they said, now, how much of these pebbles do you have in your life? And then they put those in a bowl, and people usually fill the bowl halfway. Now that you know you have all this in your life, I want you to fit some of these the big rocks in here that you want in your life. And people start, but you can't go over the certain length of this bowl. And then people start trying to put them in, and they realize they don't have enough space because all that disgruntled life is getting away with these little pebbles, right? And then it was like, well, you find that you can't fit everything in life. I was like, well, what if we can give you another bowl, and then you could put the big rocks in first? I was like, well, that'd be great. All right, well, why don't we try it? So the people start putting the big rocks in, and then they fit all the big rocks in, and they pour the pebbles on top, and all the pebbles fit in between. So what the lesson do we get there?
Focus on the big goals, and
Focus.
everything else that's not as important will fit in between that.
Exactly, right?
Priorities. Yeah.
So that's why I said, let's start here with step number 1. What did I say? Imagine your ideal week.
Right.
So we can really get to what's important to us and how do we reach it. And then reverse engineer your calendar. Make sure the most important things get on there first, so you tackle those. and everything else will take care of itself.
So how can those who are listening, what can they do to start off in making sure they prioritize those big rocks?
So I would say put it on your calendar, right? And then hold yourself accountable. Get yourself accountability buddy, whoever else is on you on the same journey or goal. Surround yourself with those people, right?
Yeah.
But make sure you always put those big rocks on your calendar first and make it a priority to tend to those big rocks.
Now, with these big rocks, are these rocks that people intuitively, I can't even say the word, but you know what I mean, intuitively already know about themselves? Or is it something they have to kind of figure it out? Like,
Some people might have to sit down and figure it out. Some people
Yeah.
know, right? Some people innately know, but some people might have to figure it out. Some people might have to do some soul searching. They might have to set some time to meditate and really think about it, because they might have voices in their head from somebody else that's saying, telling them what they should do,
Right.
instead of what they
They know
in,
they
in your
should do.
gut
Yeah.
feeling. When we were younger, we always knew
Right.
what it is. If you want to be creative when you were younger, you still have the innate ability to want to create.
Right.
And it doesn't leave you. It's still there. You just have to re-tap back into it and see what that looks like for you now that you're
I
older.
like that. I like that. Because that ties into everything we just talked about: saving money, you know, wanting to buy that home, wanting to get that job or that side hustle.
Right.
You know.
And to leave our listeners with something tangible before we kick off, there's a great article on entrepreneur.com, and it talks about the 20 skills to learn now to hit the ground running in 2020. So if your goal is to try to make more money, switch jobs, reskill, or get something more to the skills you already have,
Right.
there's so many great things that you can do, like the complete Amazon FBA to AZ bundle, $29 just to take a course to learn how to do that, right? The complete LinkedIn marketing and sales bundle, $34, right? And these are things that you can learn to use for yourself, and if you learn them well, teach them to somebody else. I even saw real estate on here. Let me see if I can find it. They said number 12, the complete Microsoft Excel VPA bundle. Where is the real estate? Now I can't find it. Now that I'm looking at it right, there was number 6, the real estate investment masterclass bundle,
Oh, there you go,
$29
$29
to get you
right?
started to learning that
How-
bundle,
yep.
which will ultimately, if real estate's your thing and you're really interested in it, $29 investment in yourself could possibly make you $100, $200 a week, right?
Right.
I don't know about you, but that's
That's a good investment.
that's a good investment.
That's a
Good
good
investment.
return.
Yeah.
That's an awesome return. And I just want to plug this real quick. I mean, I think what Terrell touched on is, hey, you know, the book by Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you're struggling and you want to start really learning how to prioritize, I think that book helped me so much. That was the first book someone gave to me, and I read that book almost every year for 5 years. You know, so it does have a lot to do with how you actually prioritize your time and really be able to actually not let the small things in life bog you down. You know?
Yeah, and he also has an audio version too. So if you don't like to read, there's an audio book out there.
Yeah.
If you go to the bookstore, they even have. If you buy the book, I don't know if they still have this. At the time that I got the book, they had a DVD and or an audio CD that came with it too, so you can listen to your car. If you still have CDs, I might have digital ones. I don't know.
Well, listen, we're almost off the air, but I do want to let our listeners know, beginning of the year 2020, we are moving our show going from twice a month to every week.
Woo!
That's right.
Every
Let's
week.
get it.
So you're going to hear more of us, and you're going to hear more of a different format of change. We're still going to be called Let's Talk About It, but we are going to focus more on issues in addition to some of the things we have expertise on, like jobs,
Right.
real estate, and finances. Because the goal of the show is let's talk about whatever's on your mind and put it out there to see how you can fit into your life.
Right.
So we're signing off.
And if you want to be a guest on our show, reach out to us too.
Reach out to us.
Yeah.
So we'll see you in 2020. Hit them goals. Looking forward to seeing you guys soon. Let's talk about it. See you next year.
2020 vision.
Yep. Sorry about that. I was cutting you.